Hello, this is Dean, not Trent. Welcome to our first Cast and Curious episode. It's an episode where I get to ask questions to the cast of Channel Divinity, and you guys get to learn more about us. With me today I have...
Gordon.
Sweet. So, I have some questions prepared, and I hope they're good. I hope you guys like what you learn about Gordon, but if you guys have any other kind of questions, feel free to email us or comment on one of our socials.
Good stuff. Sounds
yeah,
great.
Let's get started. The first one, I wanted to start with some D&D stuff. So, how did you get into D&D?
I got into D&D back in high school. I think it was my junior year, and Trent is one of my best friends, and he kind of with everyone else that he meets, he has to introduce them to D&D somehow. So he did a one-shot with me and one of my friends, and we had some extra time before school because we had a late start day, and he cooked up this one-shot that ended up turning into this big, huge adventure that lasted almost 8 months and was a super fun campaign. I played a wizard. I died 7 times, and it was an absolute blast.
You died, or
I died a lot of the time,
died.
but the DM was very gracious, and Trent would just here's an NPC that can just revive you, or this deals with your backstory. Oh, you drew this thing from the deck of many things, and that has an implication that keeps you alive or something or other. And so he'd just come up with all these different reasons on why he wouldn't kill me, because this was my first time actually playing D&D, but it was
nice,
really fun. So I appreciate that, and hopefully I don't die too often in this campaign. But
yeah, I feel like he's not gonna let us just I'll let you live now. I think he might be a little more
I feel like it'll be yep, make a new character sheet. So
yeah,
hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but
I think Trent is normally that guy he's that guy who gets everyone into D&D basically.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It happened with all of our friends in high school.
Yeah.
Once it was to me and to one of our friends, Griffin, and then it just kind of spread from there, where it was oh, hey, these people want to join in. And then we had a session of 8 or 9 people that he was DMing, and he was all right, this is a little bit much, because everyone just wanted to get in on the hype.
I remember that. I had already moved out of the house, and you guys were still in high school, and I was so jealous. I was I want a campaign that goes longer than 3 sessions.
That's true, yeah. Most times that I've played other than that big session, it's been 3 or 4 sessions, and then someone can't make it, or we have to TPK, or any of those implications.
Yeah, it's the worst. That's the problems with playing D&D.
Yeah.
I guess what drew you to D&D? What was what did you like about it, or I guess what's your favorite thing about D&D?
Originally, I was this is a board game. I'm not really into board games. I'm more of a video game type guy, and I liked the role-playing aspect of it. I was an actor in high school and different things like that, but the thing that really got me was just having an absolute blast with friends. That is by far my favorite part of D&D, is when it was just me, Trent, and a couple of the other guys and gals. It was so much fun to just role play and have fun, make jokes, and just act epic in these different scenarios that Trent would throw at us.
Yeah, it's fun to be the hero.
Yeah.
Also be just ridiculous at the same time.
And just ridiculous, yeah. And then the other part, teamwork as well. It's so interesting how well the system works to allow for you to shine, but as well to also help other people shine at the same time. It's such an awesome setup, in my opinion.
I feel I saw a meme the other day. I'm going to butcher it, but it was something D&D is the type of game where the DM could give you a situation that could be Mission Impossible, and then the background music that's actually appropriate for what you do is some cartoon music that's just ridiculous or something.
Yeah, it's the scenario is super intense Lord of the Rings, and the players have the choice of either making it the Mission Impossible theme, the Pink Panther theme, or just some goofy random music, and then the unknown choices that it's always going to be the third random goofy music that's just happening.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I think. Oh, who was your first character? I guess was it in that 8-month campaign?
it wasn't that campaign. I didn't. I still think this is really funny. I couldn't think of a name on the spot, and I had Studio C in the back of my mind, and it was the one sketch where Matt is like, oh yeah, he's like going on like the date or whatever, and is at like the doorstep and is finishing up the date, and he thinks he says something off, but then ends up saying something right, and he's like, haha, never mind, and he does like his own theme music and stuff, but he pretends that his nickname is Maverick, and that was the first name that I could think of, so my first character was Maverick Galanadel, and he was a high elf wizard, and
classic.
was just crazy in every single way.
That's fun. Well, I mean, wizards are so cool. Oh,
They are really cool once they get leveled up and aren't gonna die with 1d4 tripping damage.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Cool. Maverick, the high elf.
Galanadel. Yeah.
Yeah, the high elf.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your favorite character to play so far? Do you think it was him or?
He was really fun to play just because Trent kept giving me buffs to him so I wouldn't die, but also I could do like these really cool things. And one of the other things that Trent made really interesting was we met an artificer, and he could basically let us craft whatever item we wanted through this artificer. And so I made these boots that would throw out Tensor's floating disc, and they were boots and gloves. It was a set of them, so I could cast Tensor's floating disc whenever I wanted. So if I wanted to chase someone, my idea was like, oh, I could just throw out Tensor's floating disc by stepping and then like running up closer to them. So like if they were flying away, I could like run after them and then like stop them with that. Or if I wanted someone to stop, I could throw it out in front of them by using my hands and just using things to block it. And I thought that was like a really fun random thing that I thought of. Another one was like I had a broken sword at one point. I think I crit failed, and then I was like, I should have it like use the pieces of metal to forge the sword again and make it like a magic item that would like have the pieces follow it as I swung. And then I ended up finding out that there's a League of Legends character based off of that. But it was still cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so those were some of the fun things that made Maverick really fun, were the items that I was able to like make and put with him.
Yeah, and I think Trent really likes doing that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
Even in the campaign Channel Divinity, he's introducing like the relics, which are his basically special homebrew items and kind of magic system.
And I think along with that, I think he really appreciates it when the players take their opportunity to create something for him and help it still fit in the world that he's created, right? Because he does a lot of this world building with characters and storylines and stuff like that. And he really appreciates when I or you or David or anybody that's playing in one of these sessions decides to take a little bit of what he's already given you and run with it and take it in their own new way that still works with him, right?
Yeah. He's a very generous DM.
He's a very generous DM. Yeah,
we won't say that to him, to his face, but
yeah, never to his face, but
okay, I guess so. Those are some of your fun characters, but leading up to like in Channel Divinity, blank.
Yeah.
Why blank?
Why blank?
Yeah, what inspired him? That.
Well, we were on a car ride to go visit one of our friends, and I had not come up with a character yet, so I just came with the first friend. No, I'm kidding. Mostly. But I remember we were talking about before I had gone on my mission and stuff that we were going to come up with different characters for this podcast that we were going to do. And I was super excited. I was throwing around ideas, and then I ended up throwing out, I think, Paladin or something, which was something that you wanted to do as well. And I was like, well, I don't want to interfere with that. So I was like, I can do Druid. I've never done that.
Back and forth.
Yeah, we wiffle ball back and forth. I was like, oh, I could do this. And then you were like, wait, I kind of want to do that. And I'm like, oh, shoot, now what do I want to do? So it was just kind of like back and forth. And then finally, once you had set on like doing a Ranger and some other stuff, I was like, all right, I'm going to do Druid. But I really enjoy the Warforged characters. I think they're super fun to roleplay, but also just their features are super fun where they interact armor or implement armor into their own body, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think that that's super cool. So like the light hammer coming out, or like the flavored produced flame that's just a piece of coal, or like other things like that, or the scimitar in his back, just all those things fascinate me. And I think that they're super fun little things that I can imagine in my head that are like, sweet, this is a cool thing that I can do in D&D, right?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's like really unique to a lot of like D&D characters kind of thing. Like you have to play a Warforged a little differently because they're literally a robot.
They're literally a robot. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you can act human in most parts. And that's what made it super hard at the beginning with Blank, doing the voice all the time. That's like monotone and we talk like this and all that stuff. So when I was designing Blank with Trent, I was like super excited about the aspect of like, okay, he lost his memories. What's he going to do? How is he going to get those back? Right. And once I finally got faced with the prospect of actually trying to roleplay that became very intimidating, but also like, oh shoot, this will be a fun challenge to try and overcome. And within the first couple of episodes, you see that kind of change and stuff. And within the next couple of episodes, you see how those two work together. Right. But I think it's super fun that there's now this balance of like, oh, he'll be robotic in some places, and then there'll also be more of this like fluidity where he's kind of his own character that's separate from this rigid type personality.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it just makes him so deep because it's like you can see, I mean, sometimes he just gets punched in the back of the head and he's a robot again.
And he's just,
but then like during those moments, like I think this has definitely been released at this point, where like you meet your brother, the Golden Stag, and you just get super excited, and then like it's like once you, I feel like the more Blank discovers about himself, the more of like a real boy he becomes. You know,
there's more that he remembers, and then there's more that he ties into his personality, right?
Yeah.
He has more to go off of rather than it just being like, I have this set of programs, I'm going to go to work, or I'm going to go and help Stag find animals or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like he now has other information to draw on to create a different personality than what his baseline, almost like survival mode is.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to find out what is going to happen with Blank. And for sure, I think we're going to do another get to know you episode so, you know, everyone can learn more about you, but also so we can talk about Blank again.
Yeah.
You know,
and see kind of like the growth that's happened over time through the podcast.
Yeah.
I'd be excited for that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. First I want to ask just a few more questions, on just about you instead of about Blank.
About me.
You know.
Well then.
Are you Blank or are you Gordon?
This time I'm Gordon. No, I've always been Gordon.
Are you a Muppet?
Are you a man? I'm a Muppet of a man.
Oh, okay. First, a general, like, what are the things you like to do? What are your hobbies?
Man, I like to draw. I enjoyed doing that in pencil form, and one of the things that I got really attached to D&D as well was being able to draw the characters that we would use in the campaigns and being like, oh, hey, this is Finnick, this is Maverick, this is Anwan, this is so-and-so. Like, all these different characters were from that first campaign. But being able to draw them and show them to my friends that were playing these characters, and they're just like, you brought them to life. I can see what they look like now, right? And that made me super happy and inspired to, like, keep playing and stuff, right? And then now it's just kind of like a release. It's a fun hobby. And then it's also comes in handy when there's things like there's a podcast and you need a logo. And I kind of go through some different designs, and then we came up with this one that we think works a little bit better.
I think when I see things like that drawn, it's like, whoa. And those of us who like can't draw are just amazed by that. And we're like, wow, that is what I was thinking my character looks like. So like fan art, fantastic. And I think we were gonna maybe post some of the art that you draw along the way or something like that.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
I was planning on putting those on the socials. So
Yeah, that'd be
Stay
cool.
tuned for that.
Have you drawn any of them yet?
I've started doing sketches of our characters, but I've also helped Trent with some of the other NPCs because he's like, oh, hey, I want to know what this person looks like or this person. I can't say their names right now because they haven't been introduced yet.
Yeah, I feel like that helps him like figure out how he's going to play that, like visualize it. And
yeah. Because some of my original sketches, they were like just rigid. They're standing straight like a pencil type drawings. And then he was like, well, they're going to act like this. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll maybe just have them lean back and laugh like this because that seems more like their personality rather than them just standing there stoically, right?
Yeah.
And it adds a lot more to their character and helps him visualize a little bit more, along with me as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. This is a fun one. If you were a fictional character, who would you be?
Ooh, if I was a fictional character, I've always enjoyed characters like Han Solo and Indiana Jones and anything that Harrison Ford plays. No, but the more kind of spunky, super confident, slightly irritated characters that are just like, I'm not going to take crap from anyone, but then over time becomes more loving and more caring to other characters and still remains this kind of like awesome, super cool, aggressive type character that wants to do what's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the characters that I kind of gravitate towards in fiction and stuff. If I was to be like a fictional character, it'd probably be like, oh man. I also like side characters. Like if you've read the Percy Jackson series, Grover, one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
And then Five Kingdoms. I haven't read those books in a long time, but probably someone in there too, because that's just like a fun.
We can go forever.
We could go forever. Sorry.
Yeah. All these good books.
Right? Yeah. Shoot. I'd probably say Han Solo. I think that would be really fun to be him, be a smuggler with Chewie, and end up getting good friends like Luke and Obi-Wan and stuff, and then travel the galaxy, racing in the Millennium Falcon. Like so many cool things with that.
Yeah. Oh, good choice, Han Solo. Star Wars.
Star Wars is always a great choice.
Yeah, always. Now we know Gordon is a little rough on the inside.
Well, I don't know. I've been
Just
that's fine. But
okay, last question.
All right.
I guess for like who you are, what you're up to these days. I know pretty much all of us are in school right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you studying? And I guess where are you wanting to go with that?
Ooh, okay. Right now, I am just open major, trying to get general classes done for any major kind of done until I figure out what I want to do.
Okay.
I've looked into business and marketing, and I'm leaning more towards those. I originally was going for animation, but that after some information was shared with me, I kind of swayed away from that. Even though that is still one of my dreams, I'm probably leaning more towards business or marketing now because I think that's more versatile.
Yeah, I feel like you're really good with people. So like, I feel like you could do really good with somewhere there.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want the fans to know about you?
I don't know. You can check out my art on Instagram.
I say fans because, like, I guess we hope there's people out
Hi,
there
Mom.
listening. Yeah, right. I saw our mom, the other three of us, our mom, like, commented.
Yeah, your guys' mom was like, hey.
And, like, sent a message to all of us saying, I listened to the first couple episodes. It was so good.
And honestly, it was great to hear from her because, like, not being a part of your guys' family and hearing that, I was like, yeah, cool. Someone likes it. Yeah. Even if it is family, like, hearing someone also enjoy the random goofy story that we're coming up with is absolutely amazing because then it just adds more to it being an adventure rather than just some kind of mangled story that we might produce, right? Yeah. Someone else also cares about it and wants us to do well, so now it kind of gives us a tie to do our best as well.
Yeah, yeah. And sorry, I think I interrupted you. You were gonna shout out your Instagram or something.
Oh yeah, if you want to, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's G20Illustrate, and yeah,
cool. Yeah, go.
Or actually, I think my bad. That was my old one. It is Air Gordon now.
Air Gordon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go check out Air Gordon. He's got some cool art up there.
I do.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening and learning more about Gordon. I've had fun. Gordon's not my brother. He's my brother from another mother, but
Let's go.
But I didn't know a lot of that stuff about him, so it was fun talking. Thanks, Gordon, for I guess being interviewed.
For sure. Thank you for being the interviewer, for talking with me and asking me these questions. It was kind of fun to think about, like, all right, why did I make blank, and what do I hope to see and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was really cool. So it'll be fun to look back on this episode.
Yeah, it really will. And if you guys want to hear more, check out all of our episodes. We're on so many different things. Spotify.
Wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcasts, pretty much. And go give us a like or a review. That could really help us out.
Yeah, leave reviews, 5 stars, or any type of rating will help us get known to other people so that they can enjoy this podcast as well.
Yeah, it really will. And if you want to talk with us, feel free to message us on any of our socials or email us at channeldivinitypodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from more of you. It'd be really nice to hear from you guys, and we're so grateful for the attention that we've gotten at this point, and we're excited to, release more episodes in the future, and hopefully we can make a really cool story for you guys. Anyways, this is Cast and Curious, the first one with Gordon. Thanks for listening. I'm Dean, your host for Cast and Curious, and I've got
Gordon, and I play Blank in Channel Divinity.
Sweet. We'll see you guys later.
And in honor of David, keep tuning in.